Welcome to Tailgate Talk. Ritter, Wags, Tasker, boys all together, but we are on location today at, of course, big sponsor of our show, BuckRub Outfitters, BuckRub Archery. We're sitting outside of the indoor course where there's a youth group inside that's having fun shooting at the targets, and this is going to be it. This is the show we've been talking about for a couple of weeks leading into. I know, Tasker, you've been super excited, ready to go for this, which is we want to make sure we had all three of us together to do this because, you know, when we talk fishing, that's my realm. That's my thing, which I think maybe next week on the show we can talk a bit more. My kayak derb that I was in last weekend and just kind of general Sturgeon Bay and Lake Michigan fishing around Door County, because I think everything that I found was around last week will still be applicable, 2 weeks from now and even 3 weeks from now, around the Door area. Smallmouth bite is bonkers, especially the farther north you go in the Door. That's all I'm going to say. Focus on north of north part of Door County is going to be the best spot to find some big smallies within the next month or so, even as they're going to be coming more post-spawn too. So we'll touch base on this. Is going to be all about deer hunting and getting ready for deer season, because I know that both of you hunt a lot. You're very into it. Wags, you having the property that you maintain and all the stuff that goes into that, and things that people should be doing and thinking about as they get into deer season right now. So this is when I get to sit back and just be a spectator, basically, and I get to be the dumb guy asking questions. I love this part.
Yeah, well, it's good to have all three of us back together again. It's like Wags walks in with his Megapine shirt, and I just immediately start laughing. So it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys, too. I am a huge Johnny Depp fan now.
Okay.
I've come to realization that there was a lot of, well, put it this way. I love Jack Sparrow. And when you have children at that age, yours, Ritter, obviously too small.
Right.
But the Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow, I've always known Johnny Depp. Even I'm older than all of you guys probably put together. But I remember 21 Jump Street. I remember all the issues that Johnny Depp has always had. And then I just figured this all follows suit. Miss Heard comes in, and boom. 5 years later, it all comes to fruition, and I see these reels on Bookface all the time, yeah. And I just laugh at it.
Those are reels on Bookface from Wags. I love it.
Yes.
I'm starting to get there, too. So, yes, so it is good. It's good to be here, and, let's talk deer hunting and then go over. I do want to hear a little bit about the fishing. I want to know.
Should I give a quick little synopsis?
Yeah, why don't we just start off with that?
All right, so I had a plan we brought the whole family up. We rented a cabin that was outside of like Brussels, Gardner, that like southern Door, like you're basically Dykesville. Like we're as far southern western Door County as you could go. Well, weather came through there. There was a huge tornado that basically went through the day before. And so I was all packed up, ready to go, ready to leave on Thursday, like noon, to get up there. And I was going to get out and, get into the cabin, get settled up, and then do maybe a little pre-fish on Friday. Maybe not in the exact area I intended to fish, but just close to it to kind of get a feel for the way things were shaking out. Well, I get a call as I'm just about to leave on Wednesday afternoon. The owner of the cabin goes, we have no water, power, or internet. And there's a bunch of trees down.
That's not good.
I'm like, so what do you, I was just glad that I waited. Should we wait till tomorrow? She's like, okay. Say, well, I'll refund, one night and we'll start up and come tomorrow. Cool. So I get a message from her in the morning. I've been watching the public service, outage stuff, this and that. And I knew, right the air, I'm like, oh, that's something happened to that area. She goes, okay, we got water and power, but no internet. I'm like, internet's the last thing I care about. It's fine. I'm up here to fish a derby.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal. Like, we've got phones. We can hotspot my kids, fine to watch whatever tunes and, a tablet with that.
Yeah.
So we get up there, get settled in, and we go to Merchants, the store in Brussels. Okay, Belgian trip, it's a good thing. It's an awesome sausage. If I'm up there, I need to go to Merchants, and I need to get some Belgian trip. All right. Plus, I want to pick up some steaks because I want to throw some steaks for the fire after the tournament on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we're on our way to driving down C. And there's this huge farm that I've driven past many times because I've duck hunted up in, Little Sturgeon, traveled that area all my life. It looked like a scene from Twister. This barn was just torn and thrown everywhere. I show you guys pictures I've got on my phone. It's just absolutely insanity. Well, it turns out the internet situation was because of that. One of these metal panels went up in the air, and when it flew down, it stabbed into the ground. You would never have this happen again. 100 times, you would never replicate it. It sliced the fiber optic cable. So, all of Southern Door is without internet for, the entire weekend. It's just
not good.
Right. But, again, internet's the last thing I cared about. So I was fishing in the far opposite corner of the county. All right? I'm not going to say exactly where I was fishing. If you know the area, you can guess where I was fishing. But I was in the far opposite corner. And I had a plan to get in and fish into a river, creek, we'll call it. Maybe catch a couple out of there and then run out and do some offshore fishing because I know that both pre and post spawn, I'm going to be able to find fish in that lake, 8 to 12 foot of water, hanging around big boulders and stuff. Well, this turned out to be a bed fishing tournament, and I hate bed fishing. I refuse to bed fish. 6:18, I actually got my first fish. I was, I think, the first person to catch a fish in the entire Derby because nobody was catching anything until after 10 o'clock. So I got one, and I'm like, all right, I'm in business. Like, if I can, and it was an 18. I'm like, sweet, if I could get up here, collect a couple of these in the river, like, this is setting up exactly the way the tournament was going to. And it just didn't happen. And then, like, the shorts all moved in. And this area has the situation where it can do that, where the little ones will move in, and they just, like, take over everything.
Yeah.
And so I caught 2 more shorts, and then I pushed into I push-pulled myself through current into this area and saw a couple bedfish, and I go, okay, fine, if I have to, like, let's just quick try and pluck 2 out of beds here, and then we'll run offshore. And they were not interested, and I'm not patient enough to sit an hour and try and catch one fish, especially when I know that offshore should be something. So I ran out there. I think the weather totally screwed it up. That whole offshore, it disappeared. All my fish out there disappeared. So I had to go back and try and scrap back together. I mean, I'm happy with how it turned out because I fished my way, my tournament. Like, I think my new slogan going forward is going to be #FishYourFish. Like, as in, you do you. And I went up there. I was going to do me. I was not going to bed fish, which I know doesn't bite well for a tournament fish when you're supposed to adjust to the fish. But I didn't want to bed fish. I wanted to do it my way, and I was confident I could do it. I finished middle of the pack. I scratched out a 20th. You know, I think for a guy that wasn't bed fishing, I had the best finish. So I'm fine with that. Like, I feel really good about that finish, and I'm looking forward to the next derb that we've got, the Wolf and Fox Rivers. So July 30th is the next one, and that one sets up well for me, too. I know that area really, really well, and my wife's going to hate it, but part of the plan I've got in the back of my head right now is so the Hobie BOS is, like, the week after, and there's still spots open, and the Hobie caps off at 200. Like, and that's where the best of the best. But she'll back me on it. I'm part of me is toying around. If I get on them good on that one, I might be tempted to be like, all right, can I roll a little cash I got here and enter in the Hobie just to see how I stack up again? I mean, I'd love to get I'd love to get my ass handed to me by Christine Fisher and Guillermo Gonzalez and Sadiq and all these, like, the big top kayak anglers. Exactly, 200. Yeah. I'd love to just get crushed by them just to see where I stack up in the long term, because then I was fishing, local term with local guys, and I feel like I did good. Yeah. So, all right, that's enough fishing. I don't want to talk too much. I want to talk about deer hunting.
Well, real quick though. Okay, lack of success. Good success, finish the pack, you're happy. The storm, doesn't the storm turn water over?
It does.
It stuff?
It absolutely
screw it all up?
It did.
We got down logs.
Yeah, it screwed everything up.
Okay, that's
what I'm saying. That's what I said. The offshore stuff. It absolutely it tore everything up. The water was so muddy and so mucky, which I thought was going to play well to my game plan, because what I had figured out the week before and going into it, where I was really confident. Like the night before, did I text you or was I texting Rez? I
don't know.
I think I got a shot to win this thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how much other people were pre-fishing or what they were doing or what the situations were going to be, but I also didn't know if they were going to find the bite that I had found. And it was, most of the time you think when you're up in Door County, gobies. Play the goby bite. It's offshore, it's greens, browns, it's goby pattern. No, it's alewife right now. This is the year we're on the spin of alewife. I mean, we've talked about it in and around. I mean, there's a big story in Milwaukee Harbor, this and all of it.
Yeah.
They're in there loading up on alewife. And I found tons of them in every single bay, in every creek, and everywhere I've been. So I know that's what they're feeding on. So my baits and everything, I was going after that alewife bite. And that's why I thought, man, this is setting up. And then even as the water got dirty, I'm like, great, I'm all going silvers, whites, little brown mix. Like, I think I've got what to do it. Yeah. And then when everything just went up on beds, it was like, oh, crap. There went my derb.
That's how it goes, though, sometimes. I mean, it's similar to, you think it's going to be a good time out in the fall. You think it's going to be the right day, and it just doesn't come together.
Right.
That's how it goes for all of us.
You get set up in a tree, you're like, I got the perfect wind. They're going to come from here. And then suddenly the wind makes that swing, and you're like, oh, crap, I'm blowing my scent right at them. Everything's just totally toast.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good. Well, I mean, I feel like that's a good transition. It's exciting. I think we're like 85-ish days from the Wisconsin.
Not that you're counting.
No, I have my countdown app. I can't keep track of it otherwise. So, so have you guys shot your bow yet? That's going to be my first thing we're going to talk about.
I have a little bit. Okay. I mean, I've got the target in the backyard. I'll play around a little bit, which I'm glad to be here at BuckRub Archery. I was able to bring in a couple of my arrows that need to be refletched, because I apparently love to destroy fletchings, and they just love to refletch my arrows for me. Right. So, like, every time I come here, I think I'm dropping off arrows to be refletched. Either it's shooting through trees in the outdoor course, or just being rough with them. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that pro shop here is good. Shout out to those guys again. Thanks, BuckRub, for being a part of everything. Right. Which is where we are, by the way. We're live on location at BuckRub doing the show here today. So.
No, I have not.
You've been busy, though.
You've been busy, which is no excuse, because I know it's going to all of a sudden it's going to come up and it's going to be August, September, and we might be here again, and I'm going to walk in and you guys are going to be shooting, and I'm going to say, yeah, I just pulled mine out for the first time. Can't imagine why I can't hit anything, but that's because I didn't practice. I'm gonna get to it. It's just tough. Our season ends end of August. So that first part of September, I think opening day is what, September 15th or September 16th?
16th or 17th, I think.
So not saying that I have time, and I know you have to shoot it year-round to obviously get your skills to where they want to be. But, yeah, it's just tough right now. But now I watch these kids go, and you know what? You could probably put an orange shirt on me, and you wouldn't know who is – if that's Paul Wagner or is that a student, because these kids are hitting the ceiling, they're hitting the wall.
It's probably some sort of summer camp that's doing to learn how to shoot your bow thing, and I don't know, Wags. I feel like you can probably shoot better than that. So that's one of the things that I always think about is that when we get out of deer season, it's easy to just kind of put things away. But if you do like a winter league or whatever, majority of people don't end up doing that, and there's this little bit of a break. It's time to start shooting.
All right, I'm turning one question on Eric Tasker. Where's your bow release?
It is strapped on the handle of my bow case.
You're learning!
I think this is the first time in probably 4 times that we've been out here that I didn't forget my release.
Every time that Tasker and I have come out here, we've shot together. He's like, oh, darn, I forgot my release. Can I borrow a release from the counter? Every single time we're out here. And I'm like, dude,
it was
gotta
like
just
4 or 5 times in a row.
I strap mine right around the handle of my bow, so it's always there in my case, always with my bow. The time that met me and we hunted together, pulled my bow out of the case, there's my release, strapped it on then strap it on my wrist, and we're off to go.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've learned that, as I was going through everything last night, I was like, all right, do I have my rangefinder? Do I have my arrows? Do I have my release? And I had to make sure that I had everything on there. So now I feel like, the nice thing about that is I usually put it in my case, but having it on the outside, it's an easy way to just always know, hey, I know I got it,
I went the other way. I just bought multiple. I have 2. I bought the same, and I always keep one in that front pocket of my backpack. And then I put another one for my crossbow, my pull string. So, yes. So whenever I lose something, I always have something.
A second one.
I will not forget it. I can't forget them both.
It's not a bad way to do it. I know that usually when we get out to actual sits, I will have one that's always strapped on my backpack and one that I always just have in my case, so that even if I get out there or if I happen to not bring it with or whatever the reason is, I know that I'll always have a release on my bag.
I started actually at one point in time, I was just keeping it in my backpack. When I was on the stretch of hunting every day, my week long, I didn't bother. I just put it right in my backpack because, again, I was walked out, with thin gloves or bare hand. And once I get up in the tree and then get everything put on, settled on, I would just strap my release on then, because I hated having my release on my wrist as I climb. Because every time I'd swear, like, I could be as careful as I want to try and tuck it into my wrist. One time it's going to pop out, and what does it always do? Ding!
Yeah.
It's going to bing right into one of my, my pegs on the way up. So,
thinking of that and always having one. So that second one that I had to use it, and I got up into the tree. I was there. With the trues, you set your distance where you feel comfortable with your trigger, and then you use that small Allen wrench. Okay. Well, I forgot about that part. As I was up there, that thing, as you put it on and you move around and you knock an air, whatever you're doing, that thing spins. And then the weight, all of a sudden it spins another loop and another loop. Yeah. And that sucker wasn't tight with that Allen wrench, and that sucker fell down. Luckily, I looked down the ladder. I could still figure. I'm like, I'm done. And I could literally see it. I'm like, this doesn't happen to me. This doesn't happen to me. Yeah. You'd sit there with a metal detector, and I'd never find it. But yeah, I found it. So I made sure when I got back. Make sure that one tip is. Make sure you always tighten that little octagon.
Yeah, that's the nice part about micro adjusting those, is that you can always make sure that it's super comfortable. But if you're ever switching between releases, it's something you got to think about.
Yes, all of a sudden this thing's spinning. I look and I'm like, what's going on here? Well, then I spin it back, boom, fall off.
Yeah.
All right. It's Ritter, Wags, and Tasker live at BuckRub Outfitters, BuckRub Archery. Of course, where I've got my bow, Tasker got a bow here. They're a big part of the show here. We come out here and shoot a lot of times. There's a youth group shooting in front of us here where we are set up inside their beautiful bar area surrounded by all kinds of exotic creatures that I wonder if Kaz shot all of these himself.
I would think so.
Right? And we got wildebeest.
When I see South Africa
Kudu.
labels and I can't even pronounce the animals, besides bush pig, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. So the whole show today, getting ready for deer season, which I know you're like, it's not fall yet. It's midsummer. A big part of success for especially archery hunters being prepared throughout the year and leading into it. And, me being a guy that hunts public land, maybe my thought and checklists are different than, like, Wags, who you own and maintain a property and things that you do now or year-round to set yourself up for success.
So right now what I have, I have a transition. I have like I should say I have 2 plots. And the one plot is the one that I just strictly do green clover. It's just a clover plot. I'll frost seed it, I'll rake it, I'll throw it. When I know rain's coming, like a heavy rain that just came by, I'll just walk out there and I'll throw seed out. That's strictly clover. That's strictly a clover plot. And my south side, I do that a little bit later. So a lot of people have already put their food plots in. I haven't. I wait till the 4th of July on this one. I'm going to kill it. I wait my 2 weeks, and then I'm going to till it, and then I'm going to plant it. I do that with a lot of the roughages. Not necessarily a kohlrabi. I'm going with a different, like a Whitetail Institute, I think it's this year. Or I talked to some guys from the Wisconsin Outdoor News, and they set me up with a new product. The company's out of Georgia, but they're trying to get into the Midwest market. So obviously there's a difference. There's temperature changes. There's seasonal changes. There's a lot of things that happen different, obviously, from Georgia. So I'm going to try that.
How do you kill you're saying you're going to kill that plot or kill there? How do you kill it, and what's that process like?
So I just go with a sprayer. I got my sprayer on the back of my ATV. And I just go with a 41.8 glycol.
Okay. So you chemically kill it. Okay.
Yeah, I chemically kill it. Roundup is there. That's fine too. But when I go into my clover plot, I use either an arrest or there's another one. It's a term that I can't pronounce. But all it does is kill grasses, so it doesn't kill your broadleafs. And I can spray that. Unfortunately, this year we've seen the prices skyrocket. I mean, we're talking triple. We're talking a $40 for 2.5 gallons. Maybe it was $39.99, and now it's about $109.
Wow,
it's crazy. So those 2.5 gallons. So I look for those little sales. I use my Fleet Farm, whatever I can to save a couple dollars on that. But that's how I kill it. I kill it that way. It's an old farmland that's overgrown. So pH levels are good. I'll still sprinkle some lime. I'll lime it just for giggles. But the pH is fine. It produces fine.
So did you do a soil test, or you just have had that done in the past and you know that it grows well and you haven't had to worry about that?
Correct. I've had it done in the past, and I don't know what the nitrogen relationship, H2O, what happens over time and what's falling from the sky and what the rain content is. But I haven't done it, and I'm going to say probably 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But I really haven't had a problem with it. So I just believe it to still be true.
So no reason to change.
No.
I asked that because a lot of people typically will do the lime just purely for the fact that, their acidity's off or their pH levels are off. That they'll usually add that. I mean, I was even looking at doing that for my front yard this year, just purely for the fact that with our dog, we've had so many burn spots that was something I really started looking into. Yeah. As soon as I started reading, don't make sure that your ratio is right, I was like, I'm out, because I'm going to just have an entire brown front yard, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Yeah, not a chemist.
I did see one guy for that clover plot. I just basically Googled it. I just went off of somebody else's word, and I think it was a 0, maybe it was a 10-10-10. And again, don't ask me what those differentials are, but I can read. So when I go to the elevator in West Bend with Dougie, or if I go somewhere else at Fleet Farm, I can read my 3 numbers. But I believed it was a 10-10-10, basically just a neutral nutrient replenisher. That's what I believe it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the things that, I had down here to just chat about today. I mean, obviously you want to make sure you've got a pretty good system down pat, but a lot of people already have their food plots planted. Correct. A lot of people who are doing corn, obviously you got to have that planted by now just so that it starts growing. Everybody kind of lives by that knee high by the 4th of July kind of motto.
So my surrounding this year, I have a lot of the farmers have gone to bean. That was that rotation. So I see a lot more success on my property surrounded in agricultural. That I see it when there's corn, I have bigger deer. When I have beans, they're a little bit more nocturnal. And I don't know if there's a correlation there or not.
Sure.
But it just seems like when there's cover with high, tall corn and not being harvested yet, I see bigger deer. Now I look at them, I'm going to the fields, and there's a couple fields by me, a little bit one to the south that's a corn, but the other ones that I usually, I try to bank on them being corn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this year, I'm like banging my head. I'm like, damn it, beans this year.
So do you think that is more of a cover that they're able to eat more, or do you think it's more based on the nutrition that they're getting from the corn versus the beans that they're bigger deer?
I think it's a cover. I think it's a cover situation. You feel comfortable when you have a 5 or a 6 foot stalk compared to 2 feet of beans.
Right.
They can go in there, and that's what I believe, just in my opinion, turns them nocturnal because they can feed in a bean field at night.
Yeah.
How many times you go and you turn a corner in a bean field, and all of a sudden these lights are up. And that's great, or their eyes are binging. But then all of a sudden, if I'm in corn, you can't even tell.
Yeah.
So I think they feel a little bit more comfortable. And obviously, a buck cross trails all those doe runs. And if he feels comfortable in corn, I just think that's it. He's not gonna. It's going to be a tough. You get that 1 or 2 day window where he's going to chase. You'll see big bucks out in a bean field. But other than that, I think they go nocturnal.
Yeah.
Because
follow up to that, then, do you do anything to counterbalance not having the corn, or do you just always do your clover plots that you always do, or do you do anything to kind of counterbalance that
I don't.
and give them any additional nutrients?
Nope,
No.
I do the same.
Okay.
My program is the same. I think it maybe it's a lazy way out, or it's just a way that I've become accustomed to. I do have the time to do it, but I don't have the time. It's always it's one of those things. You start doing it, but I like the way mine goes. And like we've talked in the past, I'm fortunate enough to have a stand location here. And I'm not saying I move with it methodically, but you can tell. You can tell when they move out of the greens and when they're going into the hards or and when I get the frost and they want the sweet, they want that thing, that first frost, and all of a sudden they get a sweet taste.
Yeah. Are you doing your big water hole again this year?
So
do you do the water bucket where you dig it out?
Yep,
okay.
Yep. I bought it. So Menards, one of those Menards had it. They had the peanut shaped one. I think it's only 12 inches deep, about 58 inches long. I did that. I'm going to set that up. I'm not going to dig it down.
Okay.
I was listening to someone talk. He said, just set it on the ground.
Okay.
Let them know where it is. But always, and I don't know if we've said this, but always make sure whenever you make a water hole, even if it's a kiddie pool or nothing, always make sure you put a log in there or a stick, because the varmints, the animal, anything that falls in there, make sure they can get out, because the last thing you want is a dead bull, a dead chipmunk, something to
squirrel,
die in.
whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So thinking about that, then, having your food plots in, obviously that's really good. The other thing about land management that I think about a lot is when we do our trips up north is always making sure that we're cutting our shooting lanes and having our lanes to get out to the stands. I know you were doing a pretty good job of that in the past as well, where you're able to get out there. It's the least invasive right now, so making sure that, if you know where your stand locations are going to be, going in early and cutting out your lanes, because now you do it now. There's months between now and then that you're able to get in there and create as little disruption as possible. So do you have your lanes pretty much set that you don't have to worry about cutting them every year, or? Getting
into my stand locations is set. But as far as my shooting lanes, I have to adjust them every year.
Say the weather we've had and the storms and
may have done it for you.
Right, everything's different, I'm sure, right now. And we still got a whole summer of this left that by the time fall rolls around, it could be different again.
Yeah.
And I don't usually go in until like that middle of July, because I know that's late. Someone's going to say, you know what, you can disturb it, but the canopies are full now, but at that time before, this early growth, so my floors are all green. Mm-hmm. Come middle of July, they become suffocated out, and then it becomes dirt floor. I like it when I can see floor with no green. The floor in all my woods are all green right now. You can see a turkey head run through there, or you can see something go. But I wait till that dies down and flattens down, and once that canopy overtakes everything and there's no sunlight, that floor coverage dies, and then I go in there because then I can see a little bit. Sometimes you get tricked. There's just so many things. There's different shadows. There's just so many things.
I feel like the chunk of public land that I spent time on last fall didn't have that happen. Like, I remember getting in there in, like, early October and went up my first time. Like, it was still pretty green and tall on the ground. Like, I was able to, like, sneak, because I didn't bring a stand or anything. I just snuck on the ground, and I could basically, like, duck into greenery. It was, like, as tall as I was sitting down all over the place. And it was just that the canopy isn't as big there. I mean, that area does have a lot of down trees, and it's thinner, but it's a big forest.
And there's not a ton of thicket type of stuff in there either. It's relatively open.
There is, but not in that general area. You've got to get farther down toward, like, the river area, the creek. You got to get down toward the water, and then it starts really thickening up. But yeah, you're right. When you're up kind of toward the high part, it's definitely much thinner.
Yeah. So that is something that I thought about, and then just thinking about what the easiest path is for deer to take to get between their food sources. So if you know that there's bean fields or there's corn fields between your property and the next one, obviously making sure that it's as easy as possible for deer to make their way through there, especially when it's super hot. Are you putting your cameras out yet?
I did not, and I know you just told me last time you did. I have not. I haven't put them out yet. No, I have
soon. It'll be soon.
Neither of you guys do like the cell phone cams, right? You guys do actually have to go out and pull cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, exactly. I'm the same way. If I kept having like notifications or like every day, like checking my camera would become like checking my Instagram. Like I'd just be too obsessed.
And one of the things that I like about not having the cell cam and getting the daily updates is that you do the card dumps. So like we always do our trip that we did last year with all of our wives, that we were able to go up and we were able to set everything out and we were able to look through everything. That first time that you get to pull your cards, and it's exciting because unless you can actually be at your property, Wags, for you can, you have no idea of what's happening out there. And this is our first year that we're leaving them out for the majority of the year, so it'll be interesting just to see antler growth and seeing them through the whole velvet period, and just kind of seeing them grow and identifying them as early as possible, and just kind of seeing what we have out there. So a lot of people always talk about, your most recent intel when you're in the season, but getting an idea of everything that's happening out there in the first portion of the year gives you an idea, especially if you have multiple areas that you're looking at hunting. We did things a little bit differently this year, where last year we had a number of cameras all kind of in the same area because we were pretty dead set on where we were going to hunt. Well, when we were tracking that big buck that I had last year that unfortunately we never ended up finding, we saw a lot of sign on the other side of the county road out there. So what we did this year was that we moved another camera about a quarter of a mile away, and then we put one on the other side of the road as well. So this year we're going to do things a little bit differently in the sense that, maybe I'm not going to sit in my Old Faithful that I've seen so many deer out of, because maybe there is movement, maybe there is better, MRI as they call it, that what's happening in some of the other areas, and if there's more consistency as we get to that September-October time frame, maybe that's a move that we're going to make.
Have I made you more mobile, Tasker? The fact that I'm the guy that moves around and never sits in the same tree twice?
I don't know, man. It's a comfort thing for me, though. That's really what it comes down to, is that, I've had success in that tree. My dad's had success in that area. I know exactly what I'm in for, and I've got 5-7 years of experience I know where deer are coming from and how they're moving in that area. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know.
No saddle for me this year, but I do still want to try. I still have to learn, like we talked about, using a climber. I've never used a climber. And one of these times, if you've run out there, if you're a Cabela's or something like that, and you're on my side, or even going through that public land in Oconomowoc by me, I just give me a little heads up. I'm gonna pick one up, and I gotta learn how to use it. Just because of the fact we talked about it. Now all of a sudden I'm going to different areas. It would have been very, very nice to be able to use and utilize a climber in Galena.
See, the difference I'll give between a climber and me doing sticks, whether it's sticks and saddle or sticks and stand, is climber, you have to have a bare tree all the way up.
True.
In order to climb, whereas I can climb up and around branches. I mean, there's one tree that it was an old pine that, I mean, it was one of those gnarly pines. I was able to like use sticks and branches to like work my way all the way up into this sappy tree. Like, so I mean, there's that is you're even a little more open to where you can go by using sticks and stand.
Oh yeah, and I would love to be in the pines or the cedars if I could get up there, because obviously scent control, everything.
Yep.
But when you go out, and again, I didn't really realize it. I never looked for that with that thing going. But when in that Galena area by the Mississippi River or in the Missouri area in the Kansas, you know, those trees are, I don't know how old they are, but yeah, you know, you literally can go up. I'm not a 35-foot guy, but you know, you can easily get up there, and unfortunately, you just got to look around, and if that's a tree you want and it's got branches, you're SOL.
Yeah. So talking about gear, two other quick things about that. Make sure your gear bag is cleaned out, because there's been a lot of years where I've had an extra sandwich that's been sitting in there.
Oh, science experiment.
Not the kind that you want either, you know. So just make sure that you go through that. But what I also like to do is just go through and do an inventory of all my stuff that I have. Do I have enough hooks that I can put up in the tree? It's easy to buy a couple extra ones. Just put them in your bag. That way you're never without one. They're super cheap, so why not just at least stock up and always make sure that you've got a couple of those. But thinking about replacing things or just adding to your collection of your hunting gear, you know, we've talked about it and mentioned it a couple times now, where there's always sales that are happening. And you always think about buying things right before the season.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're swiping your card for $150 here, $250 there. Or if you're buying all new clothes because either you just want to upgrade, or you want to, maybe you don't fit in them anymore, or they're too big for you, or whatever that might be. You know, planning that out throughout the year. There are so many sales that are happening. I think that I've done a good job this year of getting a couple things here and there every once in a while, so that it's, you know, $20 here and $25 there, and it's not, oh, hey, honey, I got to go to the store and I'm going to drop my $350 on all my stuff that I need for deer hunting season. It's much easier to space it out.
I think broadheads is the only thing I'm going to spend on this year, because I misplaced two broadheads last year. One
trees.
One I know where is. Yeah, one is still in that tree. The other, again, that same day, I had an arrow fall out of my quiver. I have no clue where that, and I, you know, the rest of the season I went through trying to, you know, every time I'd go through and just take one pass just in case something moved, you know, never found it. So, you know, I lost two I was down to one of my good broadheads at the end of the season. So it's like, got to make it count. So that's really the only thing that I think I intend to buy or spend. I know I talked about doing trail camera, but I don't think I'm going to. It's like I've stuck so much into fishing, you know, continue to stick into fishing. Like last year, I think I stuck a little bit more in bow hunting, and I didn't fishing. So I kind of flip-flopped, and like this year is much more of, you know, sticking into my kayak fishing versus bow hunting, because I feel pretty set up for bow hunting. I feel pretty good. You know, I'm not the guy I'm not the guy that feels like I need to get all the new clothes and be all like. I play the wind. You know, I'm not worried about scent control, those things. So like I hunt in waders. You know, I'm not worried about camo patterns. I don't know. Am I the everyday common man that's playing for the, you know, the Joe six pack that, you know, maybe he's tight on cash? That's kind of the way I approach it, and I still have fun. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. And if your name was like Johnny Sitka and you could afford a $700 jacket,
I don't see a point in that. Like when we were on Dan Matthews and we were on the Nomadic Outdoors and we talked about that, I think I said the same thing. Like I just don't see a point to it necessarily. I mean, think about our grandparents. They're out in friggin' red checkered plaid in a pair of blue jeans. Yeah. And they did just fine. Right. So, like, where's the line? And like, what point have we sucked into the marketing game? You know, that every year there's new camo patterns that come out. Are they that much better? Yeah. Says the guy that gets suckered into new baits every year that comes out at ICAST.
But that's all right.
Like, I get that.
It's not a $700 jacket either. So that's a good thing to think about. You know, obviously just buying throughout the year, whenever you got a sale, and thinking about that at the end of the season.
The one thing, I interrupt you real quick. You were talking about what you would buy. Right now is I don't know about you, but those $9.99 packets of hand warmers, they're on sale and I should have taken a picture and sent it to you, but they're $1. They're $1. Wow.
Oh, those are priceless to have. Priceless.
I get so many of them, and we just did a run. We were picking up some. I they're $9.99. I bought 3 of them, and I probably should have bought all of them.
Yeah.
They're $1. They're $1.
Right.
And
you just never know. I mean, it's easy to just kind of look through the clearance section and see what kind of stuff is out there. And, hey, you might not need it, but if it's something that you use a lot of, you might as well stock up on it while it's cheap.
Matter of fact, I really believe that if I can think back, I think the last purchase I made with those for $1, we were at Meijer. A random place you wouldn't think. So if you just walk in their 2 foot by 4 foot sporting goods section, that's where they were. I'm almost positive that's where it was. But you got to just look.
You just got to do it. I mean, that's just like all that scent killer stuff that I had sent you the picture about. I mean, when it's on sale, you might as well just buy it because you're going to end up using it.
And then mail it in, and it's for free.
Right.
It's like
pretty much. Yeah,
that's crazy.
So, Ritter, you obviously were able to get your arrows dropped off, get those reflects, make sure the integrity of those are good. Do you need another 6 arrows, whatever that might be? Make sure to start doing some of that stuff now.
That is one I may actually look into getting another set of arrows, whether it's just 6 or get a full dozen and get it, because I've been doing the switch back and forth. Maybe it might be nicer to have some that just like always live with broadheads and just are my deer broadheads.
Arrows.
I mean, I'm still going to get the same.
Same arrows,
the exact same arrows and everything. So like all that stays the same. But it might just be nice to have instead of I've only got 6 arrows. Instead of only having 6, maybe it's time I have 18 or whatever. So I have some. So when I do break one or lose one, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
So do you use the same ones with your target heads? So so I got the same.
Yeah.
I use the Easton. I use the FMJs.
Yeah.
I use the 5MMs, and I have both. I have 6 for target shooting, 6 with my broadhead. Different weights, I get it, but the flexibility, the stiffness, and everything about my bolt or my arrow is the same.
Yeah,
that's how I like to do it. That way, I can shoot those 6. I'm not adjusting. I'm not pulling things out. I'm not rethreading, dethreading.
That's why I just keep the same arrows. All I do is swap out the head. Yeah. It's whether I'm putting a broadhead or my target tip, and I keep them the same weight. They're all 100 grain. So like that's again knowing that everything stays 100 grain, so everything stays the same. The difference is whether it's your target head or it's a broadhead.
And I like it. I like the fact that, and then they cut it. Whatever my length was, I don't know what they cut it at, but it's on. You just bring in your card and everything's cut at the same.
They've got everything
at the
for
same.
you.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's good to think about all that stuff. Freezer management, as I like to call it. Ritter's really excited about this because
this is my favorite time of the year.
At some point, he's going to see that I don't have any more room, and if I start shooting deer, then I'm going to be in trouble. So make sure you start going through that. Season's coming. You'll likely fill tags. So start going through that stuff.
I would say the same with extra fish, that I would, plop that to you. But then, somebody may accuse us of trading. That if you give venison and I give fish, then they're, so that's completely illegal. And no one should ever or would ever do that.
Right. Okay.
Nor has it ever been done.
Right.
By the way, is that not one of the most ridiculous?
That's absurd.
Like that you can legitimately lose rights and everything for that.
Yeah.
I get selling it for money. Like I get that aspect of things, but the fact that someone could legitimately come after you because I gave you fish and you gave me some venison.
Right.
Like
okay. Well,
here's the thing: as long as we don't use the words that I'm giving you this, if you give me this, then we're fine.
Okay.
So, but I just want to make it clear that I would never do that. So if there is a swap that happens, it's completely platonic, and there's no words that were ever exchanged in that.
Yes. Okay. So it'll just be like I think I left some venison in the freezer in the Ritter, Scott, and Shannon room.
My favorite was I got that at one point last year. He goes, just to let you know, there's some stuff I left in your office fridge for you. Which I'm like, okay, what? And I open it up, it's like a bunch of venison brats and stuff. I'm like, that's the kind of thing I like to find in my fridge. Yeah. Whenever I find that or beer in my office fridge, it's a good day.
It's always good. All right, the only other thing that I wanted to talk about is just trying to figure out planning your season, when you intend on hunting. Wags, for you, it's a little easier. You can just kind of get out more often. But I usually like to do a 5-day kind of trip and then a full week long, whether that's Friday through the following Sunday. That's one of the challenges that I'm having this year because it's typically always been the first week of November and like a middle October kind of a time frame. So I started looking at moon patterns, some of that stuff that I think as we get closer and closer to July and August, a lot of the more rut predictions will start to happen. It might just have to be that I make that game time decision a little bit later this year.
Be like me last year and just wing it and be like, this looks like a good weekend. I'm going to take Thursday, Friday off and go. Right?
Yeah, and I think the thing that's really throwing me off this year is that the first week of November is typically that week that I really, really like.
Rutcation week.
That was our Rutcation week last year. But this year, last year it happened to work out where the moon pattern was right, that we were going to be hunting leading into the full moon, whereas this year that full moon and actually a lunar eclipse is on the 8th, which is the second Tuesday of November, and that really kind of throws me off because that starts to feel a little too late. So I don't know if I'm going to do like a Wednesday to Wednesday thing, or if I'm going to do, and hunt over that. That's a big challenge that I'm really having with trying to figure out how to plan my season. So if you guys got any suggestions or any guarantees on when I'll shoot a big buck, you let me know.
I've got nothing here. I'm out of this one. I mean, I know when I am and when I'm not, more specifically. My son turns 5 on October 25th. Okay. So we're going to be at Disney for his 5th birthday. So that whole week of the 24th to the 28th, we're at Disney. So I'm not going to be gone a week and then come back and still be gone another week. So I'm going to work that middle week between. So that first week in November, I'm working. I'm not hunting. Yeah. But, that 7th through 11th, somewhere in there, I'm going to take a combination. I'll probably only take 2 days. Okay. But I'll wrap it on the weekend of whether it's the 7th and 8th or the 10th and 11th. That's my plan. Because last year, the big one that I saw was actually on the 11th. Yeah. Remember, November 11th was the day. Not that deer are going to do the same thing or be the same place. I get that. But just knowing that was, later November, it was past that rut. So I'm okay with hunting a little bit later. And I saw tons of deer that entire week after that. So pushing it to the later, that's probably what my game will be, is November 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. I'll kind of do like a 4-day rutcation type thing.
Sure. I don't really, like you say, I don't get a full week, so, but I can get out there more often. I can do little spurts. Right. I love Halloween, and I'm a November, that's 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 2nd through the 5th. I love those days. Yeah. You're right. I'm fortunate enough where I can go out for small little sprints. But with the girls, we got to go here, we got to go there. They do this, they want to do this. Right. I don't have a camp. Like I don't just take a week off and just sit up there like you do. Sometimes I envy that a lot because
it does sound nice. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm at home. I'm traveling back and forth every day, which is why I find public land that's within an hour's drive from my house. Yeah. So I mean that's kind of where my game plan is, the things that I'm driving back and forth home every day.
So then I can take yours. I don't have to drive, but I have to pick the days. It's like, okay, it's 2. And then all of a sudden you get when it's easily accessible, you become complacent. And not that you're not excited in buck fever because you see them on your camera when you grab your cards, but all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I just got back here. Oh, I got to run down to Miller Park, or I got to run down to AmFam. We got an event down at Miller Park. You know what? I'm just going to go tomorrow. And then it's like, the next thing you know, now we're preparing for handing out turkeys. The brewers are going to hand out turkeys. Okay, so we talk to them, and we're going to next. We're going to go down to the Ronald McDonald House, and we're going to make lunches for the families. And it's like, okay, I'll just hunt tomorrow. And then you almost lose track, even though you still have that big buck on your mind. You have to do other things. So it would be nice to just take a full week off and just say, drop it. Screw it. Yeah. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, because that works out really well. If you're one of those people that really like the Halloween day for the hunt, that's a Monday this year. That leads in nicely to that first week of November then, where you really get that kind of prime time that, if that's, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that's a great week for people now.
I love it. I like that
which
week
is super
a lot.
Exciting.
I like that week
a lot. I don't know. I think you sold me on it. I think that 29th through the 6th.
So you're going to go there early, huh?
I think I am. And then if we do like a 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th of October, then we're a little bit earlier. That still kind of falls in because I believe the 7th or the 8th, 9th could be the youth hunt.
Okay.
So that was a little wonky last year, just purely for the fact that you still have to be in orange. So
I hunted a lot in orange last year.
Yeah, you did.
I hunted a lot in orange with the bow. Yeah.
And also for youth. So... yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of a similar pattern to what we've done in the past. I mean, I definitely am going to be home on October 5th because that's my anniversary, so I'm not going anywhere then. And I've kind of always been gone for Halloween. It's like not really a holiday that I care much about.
I might get out for like an evening or something, 2 of them maybe in the month of October. That's it. Y'all know me. Yeah. October, I'm still fishing. Like I love bass fishing in October when they're starting to move up shallow and you can get some good frog bite and that. So that's I'll still be doing that in October.
When water turns, I don't do your fishing. I love muskie fishing. So I love cold water muskie.
I still that's still on the bucket list. I still I've got the promise that it's going to happen this year. That I'll get one in the kayak. So I've been told, Vince has been on me and he's got me that I can do it this year.
Get you out there,
Moving fish.
Yeah. All right. Mornings or afternoons?
I'm an afternoon.
You're an afternoon guy. I'm a morning.
I'm mornings. I only do half days.
Yeah.
Mainly just time, like you talked about. Like I'm traveling and commitments with my family and that to not. That's part of the thing, like I tell my wife, is I won't do full days to take that away. Like, I might do a full day, maybe one an entire season. I typically don't. It's just like my fishing. When I'm fishing tournaments, the whole family comes with me. And I keep talking about that's like the plan next year to have the camper and all that. So then we'll go and the whole family will come with. We can make trips of it. So then even if it's like, next year I think I'm going to probably go Thursdays ahead of Saturday tournaments so I can at least have 1 day pre-fish. But like me and one dog will go up with the camper. And set up early, and then like Friday after my wife's done, she'll grab our son and the other dog, and then they'll come and meet where I've already got us set up and I've already spent the day pre-fishing.
Yeah.
And with your property up north, that the animals will move early to get to feeding.
Yeah.
So my feeding is possibly, I don't know how many stops they make. Let's just say you bed, you feed, you stage, you feed, and then you go to egg fields.
Yep.
So I am that last step before the egg fields. If I can find those right days when they're moving early, like November 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, I will hunt the morning.
Sure.
But if I don't have a pinpoint, if I don't like the moon, I don't like this, I don't like the storm, I don't like the weather, if there's something there, I'll hunt the afternoon because the way my property lays out, I'm the last stop before the egg fields at night.
And that's why I'm the opposite. I'm usually right next to the egg field, so I'm coming through going toward bedding.
Right.
Or just kind of moving around that little bit early morning. That's why mornings, I think, are... And I've seen more deer in mornings than ever in afternoons in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 1 year to play with it, but that's what I found.
I was just looking through my list because I kept my rut report on my phone. Out of all of the deer that we saw last year, say we saw 30 deer, 26 or 27 were before 11 a.m.
Really?
So almost...
And that's your location, so you know it.
Which is terrible afternoon on all of the time.
Which
you
means...
still got to be out there, because I saw the biggest deer that I saw was in the afternoon.
Well, that also means you can get up early. You can come in and go to the lounge. You can go to the tavern. You can watch the Badgers or the Packers or something and have a cocktail. That's always nice, too.
Yeah.
A cocktail?
Or two.
I've had many cocktails after hunting. So, I think this was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was good. I think we went through a lot of different things.
I feel
prepared. You guys
prepared.
helped me talk through what I think I'm going to do, and I don't know. It's going to be here before we know it, which is why we're talking about it now.
A lot about botany. I feel like a botanist at this point. I learned a lot about plants and planting and growing plants and all that. So thank you for filling in Wags with that and everything you guys have to add to that, because I'm just a dummy that goes en naturel. I just by whatever nature grows, that's what I'm near.
Yeah.
If we could find the spelling bee champ, and then she could, because I did see her win it on ESPN, and she could tell me all these chemicals that all I know is 41.8. I was a baseball player. I went to school for 4 years, but I didn't learn a damn thing.
How do you pronounce that animal on the wall, Wags?
Nyla.
All right, that's all we need.
I hope
that's all we needed to hear.
I hope this leads to everybody having one of those Luke Bryan moments where you're screaming at your partner.
Yes.
Is he down? Is he down?
Which I'm still waiting. I put in a request to talk to Luke. I put in because I wanted to talk to him about that big fish that he caught when he was last just screaming.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had Thomas on last week talking about some stuff. So. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. Back next week, we'll talk more fishing. I'm gonna break down some of that smallmouth stuff for next week, and maybe give a little insight into my preparation of the first kayak tournament. Because again, I've prepared and done things as a co-angler in tournaments and in boats. This kayak was the first time doing things a little bit differently, because there's a lot of people that have interest in that and maybe have not done or have thought about, I might want to do something like this, but I'm afraid I don't know how to get into it. So if I can help kind of break that barrier for you and use my experiences to help you out with that, I'm going to do it. So we'll share a little bit of that next week. And thanks for joining us, Tailgate Talk, and follow us on socials @OnTheTailgate. We'll be back next week. Catch you on that next one.